Welcome back to my channel. This video I will give you all the updates that you need to know. We start with this one. Iran-backed Hezbollah enters Syria Warzone. March towards Homs to secure Assad's grip. Before we share all the details, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. So what is happening and how Hezbollah is entering into this war? Well, it is slowly but surely they're coming to the aid of Bashar al-Assad. Hezbollah has deployed a small number of supervising forces, quote-unquote, supervising forces from Lebanon to Syria overnight, aiming to prevent anti-government fighters from seizing Homs. I personally believe, by looking at all the updates in the past hours, the rebels, they were able to capture Homs. In fact, they have sent some of the militias, fighters, already on their way to Damascus. So Homs is under control of the rebels. Nevertheless, if Hezbollah can manage to come and try to figure things out without getting caught by these rebels, then I'm sure they will come in disguise and they will try to assess the whole situation there and take action accordingly. This is what I understand is going to be happening very, very soon, because if you do not have eyes and ears on the ground, you will not be able to make plan to repel those attacks by the rebels. I'm talking about Hezbollah. They must be on the ground. The deployment was confirmed by Lebanese security sources. So Hezbollah fighters who are coming to the aid of Bashar al-Assad in Homs was confirmed. This news was confirmed by Lebanese security sources and officials close to Tehran. Hezbollah's elite forces. Now, I'm not sure if this is from a Redwan force of Hezbollah. As we know, Redwan or Ridwan was the elite force that caused maximum casualties on the Zionist forces. We do not know if these supervising forces, quote unquote, are from the Redwan force, but they are from, nevertheless, the elite forces of Hezbollah. So Hezbollah's elite forces have taken positions in Homs to strengthen government control. And if they are in Homs right now, even though they're very small in terms of their size, nevertheless, this could be a huge development and a sigh of relief for Bashar al-Assad. Now, this is what is coming on the news also. Hezbollah aim to bolster Syria's Assad as rebels bear down on Homs. Now, this report was from December 6th, which is last night, from 11 a.m. So that will be almost now 24 hours ago. This is where this development is coming, and this is the timing of it. So Iran will send, now listen to this, Iran will send missiles, drones, and more advisors to Syria, a senior Iranian official said on Friday. So that was yesterday, Friday, as rebel forces advanced on the central city of Homs, and Kurds seized the biggest city in the east, jolting President Bashar al-Assad's grip on power. The dynamic of all of this is right now so complex. I'll tell you why, because I have some other development that you must take a listen, because this things is getting very, very interesting. So basically, Iran, if Islamist insurgents capture Homs in their lightning new offensive, it would cut off the capital Damascus from the coast, a long-time redoubt of Assad's minority Alawite sect, and where his Russian allies have a naval base and air base. So if Homs gets out of control of Bashar al-Assad, they will not have the supply route open anymore. So this is why Homs is so important. Not only that, but also it will cut off Damascus from the coast, and also it will have complete control over the Russian military and naval bases. So all of these support that Assad was receiving in 2016, for example, he will not be able to receive, even if war between Russia and Ukraine stops. Russia cannot send help to Assad if Homs falls the way they did in 2016. You understand the point? This is why this place, Homs, is so important. I just want to actually show you the map here. That way you will know where things are at the moment. So this is Damascus. Homs is right here. Okay, if you zoom out, so Homs right here and Damascus is, if Homs falls, because they're receiving all these aids and supplies through their coastal route, they will not be able to receive anymore, and they will most likely have to starve, or you do not know what consequences are waiting for them. Now this is where also the Russian military, the naval and the air bases are. They were in Hama, as we know. We have seen them in Hama. Now they're advancing towards Homs. Again, as I said, some reports suggest they're already in Homs. They have taken over Homs. Nevertheless, the Iranian proxies like Hezbollah, they are still not willing to lose Homs. So the first battle you see from Hezbollah or from Iran is going to be not about Damascus, because if Damascus falls, obviously game over, but it will be in Homs. So what is happening in Homs is more significant than probably what will happen in Damascus, because once Homs falls and they march to Damascus, again, as I said, some reports suggest that they are already on their way to Damascus. Nevertheless, it could be a very small contingent of the militia. But if Homs comes under complete control of these rebels, then it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for Assad to survive. And this is why we see a small supervising unit from Hezbollah came into Homs, and they are also the elite forces of Hezbollah. We will talk more about the map here, because something very interesting is happening right on the other side of Damascus. So all of these rebels are coming from this side, right? Damascus from that side. But now this place on the map is playing also a very, very significant role. I will again share that news with you in a second, how this is becoming a new battleground for Assad regime, and how a new insurgency has risen up to deal with Assad in Damascus. I'll share with you more about that in a second. But let's see what Iran is doing. They are sending supplies. They're sending this Hezbollah to help Bashar al-Assad. In the future, in a further setback for Assad, a US-backed alliance led by the Kurdish fighters has taken Dari al-Zor, the government's main foothold in the vast desert area east of the country, 3 Syrian sources told on Friday. Now, when we talk about the Western influence in the region, we talk about this particular Kurdish group, this terrorist group. Also, we know them as PKK or RPG or RPK, and these people are now going to the desert, and obviously with the help of US military and other kind of aid, financial aid. It was the third city. So this city, Dari al-Zor, okay, Dari al-Zor, that has been taken by Syrian Kurdish fighters. This is the Syria's third major city after Aleppo and Hama in the northwest and center to fall out of Assad's control in a week. This whole situation for Assad to contain is becoming ever more difficult for him, because there are so many players coming into this. So the rebels, and then you have the Kurdish groups, and then you now have new insurgency taking place. I'll again share that in a second. And piling on the pressure, the Iraqi security source said Syrian Kurds were also advancing in the direction of the town of Abu Kamal on Syria's far eastern border with Iraq, and could take it within the next 24 hours. So it should be taken by these Kurdish forces by now, because this report was coming almost a day ago, almost 24 hours ago. So by now these Syrian Kurds, they have most likely captured, if they don't meet resistance from the rebels, this city has already fallen into the rebels' hand. So Bashar al-Assad, he's going to be losing the third most important city from his grip after Aleppo and Hama. In other words, because this is why perhaps we are seeing that Iranian government is trying to get those helps, trying to get those Hezbollah members to Syria, to this area, as soon as possible. Otherwise it will be too late for them. Iran has focused, so Iran, their help is coming fast, looks like, on tensions with its arch enemy Israel since the Gaza war erupted in October 23. Quote unquote, it is likely that Tehran will need to send military equipment, missiles and drones to Syria. Tehran has taken all necessary steps to increase the number of its military advisors in Syria and deploy forces, the senior Iranian official said on condition of anonymity. To slow things down, to slow the rebels' advancement down, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, he met Turkish officials the first day when this rebel advancement started, which was November 27th. He wanted to make sure that Erdogan would not provide all the help and support to this rebel group that could take over Damascus in matter of just few days. He wanted to slow down the advancement so that Iran would send those supplies and help through Hezbollah to protect Assad regime. But what we have seen is that Erdogan has absolute zero control on Mohammed bin al-Jawlani, the head or the leader of HST, Tahrir Sham, Hayat Tahrir Sham. Why? Because this guy, now he believes that on his own he can establish a government in Syria that will be inclusive, and he will most likely include all of the people there, that he could include the Kurdish fraction to the governments. I don't know yet, but Erdogan doesn't have any control over him anymore. Yes, he received support from Erdogan in the beginning, especially when they were forming this group, HST, Hayat Sham, or Hayat Sham or Hayat Tahrir Sham. But right now they are on their own. And when Iranian foreign minister met Turkish authorities, officials, his hope was that Turkish government will have some kind of leash on them. Turkish government, they have control over the National Syrian Army, not on this group. Okay, Hayat Tahrir Sham, HTS, they have absolute no control. Therefore, now Tehran is providing intelligence and satellite support to Syria. You can easily see why they will provide satellite support to Syria. It is because through satellite you can track the movement and the advancement of these rebels in absolutely no time. This is why, again, as I said, Iran knows they're running out of time, and they are using satellite, they are using intelligence on the ground, and also the intelligence they have everything possible in order to stymie the advancement of these rebels. The Israeli military said it was reinforcing aerial and ground forces in the Golan Heights in southern Syria and was prepared for all scenarios. The best thing that can happen for the Zionist state is fighting in Syria between Hayat Tahrir Sham, HTS, and Assad forces and Kurdish forces and Iranian forces. That's the best case scenario for the Zionist state, that Syria is in chaos so that they can continue their genocide and atrocities elsewhere. If these rebels have a firm grip on Syria, or if Assad for some reason is able to survive this attack, or if Iran has even much more stronger foothold in Syria after all of this, that is a bad news for the Zionist state. The Zionist state wants Syria to be unstable. Therefore, now they're supporting this rebel group, sometimes by carrying out strikes on communication bridges. For example, the bridge between Jordan and Syria was blown up by Israel because they wanted Hezbollah not to be able to come over to Syria from Lebanon. But at the same time, they're also observing the situation very closely. If they see these rebels have complete upper hand in Syria, then Israel will carry out airstrikes on a regular basis. And even better for Israel, Zionist state, if the Kurdish can have upper hand in Syria. But that is very unlikely to happen because the Kurds will then come under strike or air attack from Turkey. So this is a very complex situation right now. Iran-backed Hezbollah, meanwhile, sent a smaller number of supervising forces from Lebanon to Syria overnight to help prevent anti-government fighters from seizing homes, two senior Lebanese sources told Reuters. But Israel has seriously weakened Hezbollah in fighting in Lebanon this year, assassinating its top officials and devastating its military infrastructure. We'll talk about that in a separate segment. But let's see how Russia is helping in all of this. One report suggests that Russia is actually sending or will be using the Central African mercenary groups with this situation in Syria. Let's take a listen.
Well, as the crises engulfing the world become ever more complicated and interconnected, Ukrainian intelligence officials say they believe Russia is about to send mercenaries from Africa to shore up Syrian government forces. The Ukrainians say the mercenaries will probably come from Russia's Africa Corps. That's a rebranded version of the state-funded Wagner Group. The Africa Corps has established a foothold across the continent, though exactly where its mercenaries are active and in what capacity, it's hard to ascertain. What is known is that they're heavily involved in northern and western Africa. Russian mercenaries are fighting in Libya's civil war, as well as propping up the anti-Western military juntas in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. They're particularly influential in the Central African Republic, which signed a security pact with Russia in 2018.
Okay, so I think that will be a long-term plan for Russia to use those mercenaries because, as we know, Russia cannot help Syria the way they did in 2016 because of their engagement in Ukraine war. Russia has no other choice, in other words, but to use these mercenaries from Central African region to help prop the Assad regime. That is another dimension to this whole conflict that is already very much complicated at the moment. Now, this is where I want you to pay attention to. This is the map, right? So, and I showed you guys. This is let's zoom in. This is called Dara. Okay, Dara. This is Dara in Syria. You can see the map right here. Now, the local people are rebelling against Bashar al-Assad. Now, these local groups are not with Hayat Tahrir Sham. Okay, they are now a new group, only locals, made up of local people who are taking up arms against Bashar al-Assad, and they are going to create more problem for Damascus. And you can see Damascus is right here. These groups are from here, these local groups. And on the other hand, you have Homs, and the rebels are coming from Homs. Hama, they are capturing Aleppo and every of these major cities. In other words, what I'm trying to get you at is that Damascus is coming under attack not from the north, but also now from the south. How do I know that? Well, take a look at this report here. Local rebels take most of key southern Syrian region. Okay, so these are all local rebels. So to make things even more complicated, now we have another group in this drama, if you want to call it a drama. rebel forces in southern Syria have reportedly captured most of Dara region, the birthplace of the 2011 uprising against Bashar al-Assad. UK-based War Monitor reports that local factions, quote-unquote, were able to take control of many military sites there following violent battles with government forces. According to Reuters news agency, rebel sources saying they had reached a deal for the army to withdraw and for military officials to be given safe passage to the capital. So Assad's army, they are now fleeing or trying to strike a deal in order to save their lives, and they are given safe passage to capital Damascus because that's what they do. They are very, very demoralized. These Assad forces, they are very, very corrupt. Recently, Assad he announced there will be 50% rise for their, salaries and all that. But is it too late? We'll find out later. But these people, these forces, they're very demoralized. They're not receiving payment, and so they are resorting to corruption. The local people don't like them. Their presence is not welcome whatsoever. Now, Bashar al-Assad, again, as I said many times, is becoming a huge liability for Russia. And this is why perhaps we have seen how Russia now is withdrawing its citizens from Syria. And they have actually announced that every Russian in Syria must leave immediately. Russia is also not using heavy bombardments. I have reported only 4 fighter jets were operational to tackle the advancement of the rebels, but obviously we have seen the advancement nevertheless never stopped. Russia's involvement is getting minimized. Now they are resorting to African mercenaries. We do not know when they will arrive, but for now the battle is getting out of control of Bashar al-Assad, and Iran is acting absolutely desperately to stop this as soon as possible. We'll give you more on the updates about the rebels' advancement and what is happening on the ground. Thank you so much for joining this session. I have some comments from Vida among friends. Thank you guys. Vida Yacht. Then I have some comment. Reda Sport. Dean Ali. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful